Good evening, everyone. It is Deborah with Kensington Cross Stitch. It is June 21st, 2023, and I'm bringing you a little bit of different kind of content tonight. Rather than a regular Flosstube, we're going to have a Flosstube extra. I am going to show you a kit parade. I was realizing a couple of things. One is with Sew Me Sarah's current sale, the Get Your Kit on sale, I've been thinking about the kits that I have, kits that I'm lusting after, some of those things recently. But I've also been thinking more about some of the things we've been talking about is just appreciating what I have, remembering what I have in my stash, and thinking about how to work that into my rotation. So I thought it would be a fun time to have a kit parade. I am discovering, looking at the piles of things in front of me, I have a lot of kits, so this may take us a little while, but it will be so much fun to go through it, to show these projects to you, to talk about why I'm excited about them, why it was that I purchased them, and hopefully inspire you to take a look at some of these as possible future projects for yourself as well. And I know before we get too much further into the video tonight, I know that kind of what constitutes a kit parade isn't always used in the same way by everybody. So in this case, what I mean by a kit parade is things that were kitted up by somebody else, whether that is a Dimensions kit or a Mill Hill kit that is commercially produced, whether that is something that I got in a subscription box or a club box, or something that a store kitted up for me that I did not have to collect everything together. That's kind of what I consider a kit parade, so that's what we'll be focusing on tonight. But of course there are other ways to interpret that as well, so I will probably be back with you sometime in the near future with a second kit parade. In that one will focus on kitted items, so projects that I have kitted up myself, chosen my fabrics, chosen my floss, tied them to a pattern that I'm thinking about, but I've put them together. They haven't become a whip yet, but I have them kitted and ready to go. So I think I will probably do a second kit parade that's kind of that sort. And then I was also thinking I do have a couple of kits for other types of crafts, not cross stitch, but other types of crafts that either I enjoy already or am thinking about trying, and so I have purchased a kit to give myself that opportunity. And so I will probably be doing another Flosstube extra that's really focusing on non-cross stitch kits, so embroidery, wool applique, wool felting, some things like that. So if that is your thing, look forward to that content as well. And if that isn't your thing, it is separated out, and so you won't have to you can just skip through that on your playlist. So those are just a couple of the extra videos that I am hoping to bring to you in the near future. But for tonight, we have our traditional kit parade. So I hope that you enjoy. I don't have a huge amount of organization to what we're doing tonight, other than they're kind of just organized by size. So you'll see that as we go on. They maybe range from the smaller objects to a couple of big projects, but like I said, I think it will just be a fun opportunity to do a stash dive with you, show you a couple of projects that I have, like I said, hopefully inspire you to take up something on your own for a future project. And if you are looking for a kit sale, please do join in on the Get Your Kit sale, something that Sarah has been organizing, and it really is just an opportunity to appreciate the pleasures and joys of something that comes kitted for us. So with that, I will launch into tonight's content. And my first project is actually something that is very unique, and is one that I was privileged to kind of win in a little giveaway at a stitching event that I went to several months ago. It is an older project, but is just something that, like I said, is just incredibly unique, and I am looking forward to trying out this project in the near future. So the first one is the Miss Caroline by Old Colonial Designs, and as you can see, it is the project comes fully kitted as a doll. It comes with the pattern, it comes with the threads, and just a really neat way to show off. What a great one to start with. And I'm like, I can't figure out how to show off a cylinder. We're off to a really good start, y'all. But I thought this was just such a wonderful, neat little kit, a unique project, and something that I am excited to try. I don't know if I will stitch kind of the alphabet motif. I may choose a different project or a different pattern to stitch on it, but I just thought that that was a really unique project and something that I'm looking forward to trying. So that's the first one. I will try and put as much of the information about these patterns in the description. I will talk about them, but in case I miss something, like I said, check in the description box and hopefully everything that you're looking for will be there. The next couple of things that I have to show you are a few Mill Hill kits. So I've mentioned in past videos that I've done one kind of regular sized Mill Hill kit project in the past and recently did my first Mill Hill ornament. And so I have been collecting a couple, but also building up my stash a little bit on that. So I do have a few of those to try. So the first one that I have is this Holiday Glow. And it is just some candles with some Christmas decorations. And that's probably sitting on a mantelpiece is what I'm thinking. But that is, just love those colors, that rich red and the blue. So that is Holiday Glow by Mill Hill. The next one is, to be honest, very, very similarly themed. It's essentially just Halloween lighting as opposed to Christmas lighting. So candles, and this one is called Midnight Glow. So I do think that they were thematically chosen to be very similar, but clearly I have a thing for fire and beads apparently. But those are both projects that I will enjoy working on as we get a little bit closer to those seasons. So if you like either of those, I hope that you'll pick up those. The next one is a very small charmed mitten ornament set, and this is an older Mill Hill kit. Let me bring it a little bit closer there. And this is one that I actually picked up at a thrift store not all that long ago, and it is the complete kit. And so charmed mitten ornament. And so these are what I've discovered about these is they're just really wonderful on the go projects. Something that you can just pop in a little bag. Everything you need is there and you can finish them in a very short period of time. So these little ornaments are something that I am absolutely going to be adding to my rota on a pretty regular basis, I think, because how great is it to just be able to grab a little bag and go with a project. So with that, I do have a couple, and if you've been watching my recent videos, you've seen both of these as well. And so this is Autumn Harvest, and this is called Fall Mailbox. And it has just a autumn-themed mailbox stuffed full of letters, enjoying some kind of stitching mail. I'm sure it's stitching mail. And so that is a recent acquisition I picked up when I was at Stitch New England just a couple of weeks ago. And then also from that Autumn Harvest series is Apple Harvest. So some Christmas, or it's Christmas trees. It is an apple tree with a cat and some apples there. So that will be another great one to work on as the weather gets a little bit cooler. So those are my Mill Hill kits that I currently have in my stash. I have been feeling very righteous about myself and not buying more of them because they've also just released the newer Mill Hill kits. And I was like, oh, some of those are really nice. Some of those are really nice, but so far I have resisted. We'll see how long that lasts. So those are my Mill Hill kits. Also very similarly are a few that I showed in my last video as well, and these were something that I picked up on Etsy. And rather than using the perforated paper like you use in Mill Hill kits, they actually are using laser cut wood, and so this is a winter Hobbyhorse. I will put all the information about this in the description box, but this is from an Etsy shop called Stitchery.shop, I believe is the name of it. And so this is just a winter themed rocking horse, and once you assemble it, it will be 3D and you will actually be able to rock that on your mantelpiece or wherever you choose to display it. Similarly, I have this little bookshop by the same designer. And it's got a little cat and some books in the window. And one of the things that I love is that there are letters coming out of the chimney there. Let's see if I can get that to focus at all. There are letters coming out of the chimney there. And then a slightly larger one that is a series of small pieces that you can hang together is these autumn leaves. So those are 3 that I picked up recently, and I am looking forward to trying stitching on wood as opposed to perforated paper. I haven't tried it yet, so we'll see how it goes. It may be something that I'll say, well, I've done that once or twice and that doesn't need to happen again, but I think it'll be okay. I also have a couple of pieces that I picked up. I possibly, this was at the same kind of thrift store run a couple of months ago. I found a little treasure trove of mostly small, older cross-stitch kits. And so I picked some of those up just because I thought, why not? It'll be fun. So this one is an old plaid kit, and let's see, does it have a name? Presents. It's called Presents, and it's a picture of some Christmas presents. But that one is just really cute. It will be something that you can easily whip up in a very short period of time, and I love that one exactly as charted. I will stitch that one using, I might change the fabric out. I'll probably finish it as a little pillow or something, but I would stitch that pretty much exactly as is. And then I also found this one in that same trip, and it was a stitch and hang kit. And what I really like about this one is I'm thinking that what I will do is update maybe the colors and use DMC floss or some other fancy floss and see what I can do just in terms of how updating floss, maybe using some variegated thread, will update this and maybe make it look a little more modern. We'll see. I don't know. I'm looking forward to experimenting with that one, and I think that because of the size and the simplicity of the pattern, it will be a good opportunity to try that out. I also picked up a couple of wire kits, and so in addition to the entire project, they also come with some wire pieces, and this one just is an old stocking. That one I thought was fun. And then here's a Debbie Mum piece, and it comes with this welcome wire as well. I have actually stitched this piece before as part of a larger project that I got as a kit, and so it brought back some really fun memories when I saw that. But at the very least, I figure, I don't know, I paid $1 or something like this, and at the very least I got that hanger, but I may restitch it because it's one of those neat things to think about a project that you have made for somebody, you've put it out in the world, and then in some ways it can come back and you can enjoy it as well. So that one just brings back a lot of fond memories. And then in terms of the smaller pieces that I have, I also have one more kit, and this is actually one that I received as a freebie in another shipment. So I thought it was very kind of them to share this along. I don't know if it has kind of an English name or not, but this is I can never remember the proper name of this, but this is the gooseberry plant, and I like the look of gooseberries, but I also enjoy eating gooseberries. So that one, I was just really pleased to see that because I hadn't ordered it. It came as a free gift, and I just thought it was the perfect thing. They had no idea that I enjoy those, but I love that one. So those are just a couple of the tiny little kits that I have. And I think we will start moving into some of the more modern and then some of the slightly larger kits as we continue on. Now, as we go, there will be just a couple of these that I did actually get kitted up when I originally ordered the project. It didn't necessarily come with the full kit, but you could order that. So there are a couple of those in here, but I figured why not share those with you as well. So this first one is a fairly recent Heart in Hand. This was released, I believe, 2 markets ago, and this is the Hummingbird sampler, and just this really sweet kind of light green, and it comes with a very pretty light green fabric. I also have the thread, although I think I put it in my stash, but I did order the thread that goes with that as well, and it's just a monochromatic piece, which are just really relaxing stitches. I also have a series of older designers, so Trilogy, Bent Creek, Little House Needlework, a few that have been around for a while. And one of the things that I really enjoyed when I was stitching a decade or so ago was how many of those were released either as full kits or partially kitted projects. I think that was when that really started to get popular, was about 10 to 15 years ago, with the kind of up and becoming independent designers who didn't release in Joanne and things like that. And so I have been collecting those for a number of years. Some of these are pieces that I've had that long. Some of them are things that I've picked up more recently, but were produced during that era. So those are just a couple of what we have in this section of the video. So the first one is by the Trilogy, and the Trilogy was several different designers. It was Bent Creek, it was Heart and Hand, and one other designer whose name I have forgotten. They're no longer releasing under that that name, but I think that they're the kind of the successor is Friend Stitch, but also it's just something that you can continue to find either on some of the major sites, or if you go on eBay, some of the stash unloading sites, you can often find Trilogy patterns and kits on those places. So this one is Tall Trios, and it is a series of 3 smaller pieces that are together in kind of a triptych, and this one is called Yule. And it comes with the fabric and all of the floss that you need. I would say I probably won't stitch all 3 of them. I'm not much of a Santa Claus stitcher, but I really love both the Christmas tree and the Yule, and so I will stitch those possibly side by side as opposed to on top of each other, but that one will be absolutely a very quick stitch, and so that is Yule by the Trilogy. Also by the Trilogy is Deck the Home, and this is called Treats. I am filming toward the end of the day. We're getting some of the glare. Maybe if I hold them over here. There we go. So this is Deck the Home Treats, and as you can see, kind of again has 3 motifs in it. It's got a Christmas tree, a present, and then an ornament. And then again, it comes fully kitted in, back when like CD cases and things like that were popular. So that is another one. I think I found that one on eBay for a very, very reasonable price. Similarly, also by the Trilogy, this might be the last Trilogy piece. We'll find out. This one is called Secret Birdhouses, and the picture is very dark, so it may be difficult to see, but it's just a kind of a square piece that has a whole series of birdhouses in it, and it doesn't come with the threads, but comes with the fabric and some of the buttons, which I believe are Jabco buttons, but really cute little stitch. I was always very fond of the Trilogy, so anytime I see one of those available, I'm like, look, did I just buy that? I guess I did. Another one that came out kind of in that similar era was Lizzie Kate, that had a boxer series, and it was essentially a CD case, and you could flip it and display it within the case itself. And she did a series of these, 1 cottage per season. I have stitched the autumn piece in the past, and that goes up on my display, and so I thought adding the winter piece would just be, oh look, there I am. I thought the winter piece would be a really fun one, and it comes with this dark fabric, and then also look at that tiny little snowman and his heart. It's adorable. I mean, how can you not want to stitch that one? So that one is Lizzie Kate, Winter Cottage. All right, the next one I have is Winter Typography, and this is by Pine Mountain Designs. Again, this one came out, 2010. So something I've had since then, and every time I pick it up, I think, I really need to stitch this. And then I don't stitch it, and then I set it aside, and the next time I see it, I'm like, I really need to stitch this. I love it. It's gorgeous. So something that I need to stitch this. That's what we're saying. So let's see here. I love it because it's just one of those kind of word jumbles all about Christmas. And this one comes with the fabric. It doesn't have the thread in it, but it does come with the fabric. I have 2 Little House Needleworks pieces. She released a series of kind of tea-related projects a number of years ago, and I have actually stitched one of them already. This one is Spiced Tea. And this one comes with Belsois silk. This is actually, if I remember correctly, before she and her daughter purchased the Belsois Crescent Classic Colorworks line, and so they were being independently produced by the original dyer. But I was very careful when I stitched this, and I actually think that I probably have enough threads that I could stitch the entire thing over again if I wanted to. I have always intended to, because when I stitched this, I made it for kind of an auction event, and I finished it on a very small wooden box, which I stained, and I mounted it on top, and it was intended to be kind of a place where you could keep tea bags and things like that. And so it was for an auction for a good cause, but I really like the pattern. And so I have kept it all of these years thinking, I need to stitch that. I don't keep it with my finished projects. I keep it with my yet to stitch projects because I would like to actually restitch this one. And both of them, I'll show you the other one in a second, they all have this kind of border around it and then the label. I don't know if I would stitch the entire thing over again with the border. I'm not a huge border person, but that'll be a game day decision. We'll see how we feel about it. But I do think it's possible that I have enough threads to redo the entire thing. The only one that I might not have is the white one, but I actually have some more of that color as well, so I'll be good. And then similarly, there is iced tea. There we go. Which is a fun summer theme. And I have, as you can see, it comes with the silk, and I also added in some fabric. I think it's a 32 count, maybe a 28 count. But that one is kind of a really nice summer theme. And I believe there were 2 more in the series. I don't remember what they were, but I believe that they are still available. I'm not sure if they come kitted with the silks or not, but I do believe the patterns are still available. Couple others in terms of those more classic designers. I have Bent Creek, and this is Pop of Winter, and it's a zipper kit. This is a new piece. This was released, I believe, at Market this year, and I bought it for that snowman. That snowman. I mean, look at that little guy. His little scarf and his little squat body. Oh my gosh, he is adorable. That snowman, he needs to be in my life. So I really enjoy these zipper kits. I've actually stitched a number of these. They come with typically 18 count Aida and then pearl cotton. And so they're very easy to stitch, something you can see in any lighting, and then they finish up and stitch up very, very quickly. So if you haven't tried the Bent Creek zipper kits, there are a whole series of them. There are globes, there are seasonal pieces. This is a series, there's one tree for every season, and something that I absolutely look forward to, but that snowman needed to come home with me. And then I also have another Bent Creek piece. This is an older pattern, and this is Fare Thee Well, and it comes with the buttons and the fabric. I have not stitched this one in part yet because I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to stitch Fare Thee Well as the letters. I may come up with another phrase to put in there. I really like the design, but I may come up with something doesn't feel like you're basically just saying like goodbye to somebody. I don't know, but that one is Fare Thee Well by Bent Creek. The next couple are, let me do this one first. This one I actually picked up at on a freebie table at Stitchin' at the Farm, if I remember correctly, last year. And I don't have the name of the pattern, but this is an You and I and Friends pattern, and it's this really lovely kind of primitive autumn piece. And it comes with everything inside it, and actually this is partially stitched, and so I thought it would be fun to continue on something that another stitcher has started, and that way it can be kind of a joint project. So that one is something that will probably come out in the kind of closer to the autumn time. I also have from Hands On Design, I have the Philanthropic Pumpkin. This was a charity piece that Kathy released, what was it? Is it 2 years ago now? Might be 2 autumns ago, maybe 18 months ago. I think 2 autumns ago is when it was released. Extremely popular, crashed her website, which I think she's still continuing to apologize for every time it comes up. But really lovely piece. And I know that because this is something that was only released once, will not be released again, I know that one of the things people have been doing is continue to share it along, so that's something that I would intend to do once I have finished this piece. And I did get the full kit with all of the extra items in it, so that is one that I will, again, kind of something I hope to pull out this autumn, Philanthropic Pumpkin. Couple other of these kind of medium-sized projects. This one is something that I ordered online, and it is called Travel. And this one is stitched on plastic canvas, and it comes fully kitted. And if you can see, it is 2 hot air balloons inside of essentially a light bulb. And I just thought that was, I don't know, really unique, a unique way to finish it. I believe based on the picture, you're maybe supposed to finish it as 2 separate pieces. I haven't looked at it in detail, but I would actually see if I could connect those and make them kind of a double-sided piece. It seems like it's symmetrical, and then you could do that. But that's probably what I would do with that one. But I love hot air balloons, those kind of classic travel motifs. So I thought that one was just a really pretty, really lovely. I also was in the Threads of History Club through Country Sampler. I think it was through Country Sampler for a while. And they would come fully kitted, just really beautifully wrapped. And I got a 32 count linen as this. And this is a Chessie and Me project, and it's Bertha May Brown sampler. I've talked in the past, I'm not a huge reproduction sampler stitcher. I think they're lovely, but it's typically not something that I choose to stitch. But this one I loved. There is a hot pink cat. A hot pink cat. I mean, look at that. As I get a glare. Hot pink cat. I mean, oh my goodness. I think what I would do is actually stitch just that bottom piece. And I might put the cat on the ground. I might have the cat floating in the air. Who knows? But those colors are just phenomenal. So that is one. I know typically these are released as exclusives initially. It's been long enough that this one either maybe has been released or will be released soon. But I would keep an eye out for that one if that's something that is of interest to you. And then last winter, kind of last Christmas time, I joined Forbidden Fibers Holiday Express Advent box. That's what it was. It was a Holiday Express Advent box, and it came, obviously it was an Advent series, and so you received something to open every day as part of that Advent, and every other day you would receive a part of the pattern, and it was a holiday train themed box pattern. And so over the course of that kind of 24 days, if you wanted to, you could actually stitch the entire project, or by the end you received the entire pattern that you could use. And she released specially dyed threads. She had fabric that came with it. It comes with even just finishing fabric that she had dyed. It comes with a project bag. It comes with a needle minder, all kinds of things. And the final piece was similar to this. It kind of had, I believe, the word believe in the smoke there, and then it has holiday colors in it, but it did come with all of those extra elements and came with all of the threads from Forbidden Fiber, very holiday themed. And then it also, as I said, came with really cute little needle minder, and then this lovely blue fabric. So I had mentioned at the time, I don't think that I will stitch the pattern as kind of a holiday pattern, but I really love the idea of doing it as a monochrome piece and keeping it as something that you could potentially keep up all year. So I will probably actually just put these threads in my stash and pick out something that is monochromatic when I get to that project. But it was so much fun to just open it every day, have a little bit of surprise, a little bit of something to look forward to. And of course it was about trains, so who doesn't love trains? All right. What do I want to do next? I'm going to get kind of this stuff out in front of me first. Like, you can see what I'm looking at. So the next couple are from Tom and Lily. Tom and Lily has a monthly subscription box called the Broderie and Color Box. Broderie. I should not try French at 7:18 in the evening. But this is something that you can sign up for, and it comes every month, and it is fully kitted. It has fabric, it has floss, it has a pattern that she designs. And then I believe it's every third box, rather than being cross stitch, it is some sort of similar craft. So once there was black work, once there was ribbon embroidery, some things like that. So if you're also looking to maybe expand beyond just cross stitch or try out other crafts, You're looking for an easy way to do that, a really reliable way to do that. This is a good box for it because she's very consciously adding in some of those crafts every couple of months as well. So I do have a couple of those to show you, all of which are really fun. I won't show you the whole kit, but this is kind of the snow deer, and it's kind of a geometric, very bright. I have to show you these colors because they're just gorgeous. It comes with an opalescent fabric that she has dyed herself. It's not really coming across in the camera, of course, but trust me, it's an opalescent. And then look at those gorgeous colors. Not what at all would you consider certainly Christmas colors. And I don't know if you would even say that they are winter colors until somebody mentions it and you're like, actually, I can absolutely see that. So those are just lovely. So that is, I like that it's just a non-traditional winter piece. So that is something I will be looking forward to bringing out as we get a little bit closer to the cool weather. Similarly, skip that one, there's also a winter piece that comes in this case in Petit Point. It has the little white dots on it. And this was a series of 3 pieces, all winter themes, or actually Christmas themes. So Christmas trio. And the one that I love is those stockings. Super cute. So those are probably what I would stitch. And they come with all of the hoops, all of the pieces that you would need for finishing the entire project. So this one is a nice kit because it not only comes with everything you need for stitching, but everything that you can use for the finishing as well. And then the last one that I have from their series is one that is intended to be a phone cover, but I really like it because it's just a lovely spring, kind of daisies, purples, blues, greens, really nice colors there. So that is, those were the 3 Broderie and Color Box that I still have yet to start. The next one that I have is an Owl Forest embroidery kit, and it is borscht. And I have never done an Owl Forest embroidery. It's not as kind of a style that I would necessarily be gravitating toward, but this one I saw it and I just thought it was so unique, and it comes with all of the fabric. It comes with all of the floss, of course. It's got a little cat and a little dog, and it has all of the elements of things that go into a classic borscht recipe. It's got onions, it's got beets, all kinds of things. So I have mentioned in past videos that my part of my family tradition is something called Germans from Russia. So these were people from Germany who were invited to emigrate to Russia during the reign of Catherine the Great, and most of them stayed or left again kind of around the turn of the 20th century. And my family's tradition is people who actually live in the part of Russia that is now Ukraine. So it's not kind of Russia proper. But there were a few things that did kind of seep into that tradition, even though they, for the most part, remained German in terms of heritage and traditions, even while living in that part of the world. But borscht is one of the things that has become part of our family tradition because of that. And so when I saw that, I just thought, that's one that I need to have, and I need to stitch that at some point. So Owl Forest embroidery. I am not editing that out because that's how I am. I am so clumsy and without rhythm. I get out of step with myself simply walking. That's how bad I am. So Owl Forest embroidery, borscht. All right, I've got 2 little boxes to show you. One is the Gather Round series, and this is the club kit that Kathy Hopperman from Hands On Design has started this year. And so this is the number 2. This is the second part of this series. I've received 2 so far, and it is a seasonal series. And this one is kind of the summer piece, and it's Gather Butterflies, and each one comes with 3 of these circular designs, and the original the very first shipment that we received comes with these little magnetic circles that you mount each of the pieces on, so you can stitch them and you can change them out very, very easily from season to season. I've started the spring series. I haven't finished the spring series. I should work on that. And so I have the summer piece, and it comes, of course, with everything that you need. Some of the fabric, or some of the threads continue from season to season, and some of them are new. But we do have 2 more of those coming out, and really fun. I always love Kathy's designs, so those are neat. I love that there's a lot of kind of quilting elements in this series. So that is part 2 of the Gather Round series. And they come in just these really nice little boxes too. And then the last kind of boxed kit that I have is from this last year's Friend Stitch. So if you're unfamiliar, this is an online only retreat that is done by Heart in Hand and Bent Creek. They've partnered up for the last couple of years, and they offer this virtual online only retreat. And they've done a couple of Christmas themed ones. They did a Thanksgiving themed one, and then this year they're actually doing pop-up events, and so they're shorter events on a number of different series. So there's a needlework themed one, there's a Halloween themed one, I believe, this time. And so if you haven't, there are a couple more of those coming up, so check out either of their social media accounts and you can look for that. And that is Friend Stitch. But this last year was Christmas themed, and they always send wonderful boxes. Part of the event is you actually get to open them for the first time and look at them together with everybody else who is there joining you during the event. And you have the option to get all of the fabric, all of the floss. Some of them come completely fully kitted. You usually get at least several patterns that you can work on. But this year, I really loved this year's main piece, and it's Glad Tidings and Gathering Great Joy. And if you'll notice, it's actually a whole series of small designs that if you wanted to, you could of course stitch the entire thing. But you could actually stitch every single one of them individually as a small, do them for maybe a small exchange, for example. I love this alphabet, that sampler, really pretty. So I think all of those would be fun. I would probably stitch them all as smalls. It does come with all of the threads. I chose to not get the fabric for this one, but you could have done that. And I think it's, they often use Vintage Country Mocha, which is very readily available. But that one is just, it's always a fun event. And I'm looking forward to attending a couple of those this year as opposed to just one. So we are heading into the last stack. That's pretty impressive. So let me start showing some of those to you. Let's see here. It's getting a little precarious as well, so we'll see how this goes. The first one that I want to show you is actually not something that I'm going to probably stitch as kitted, but is something that I picked up in a recent thrift store circle. And it's this fully kitted project, and it comes with everything that you need, but it's this doily. And I was thinking what I may do is try and possibly dye that using maybe coffee and tea dye just to kind of antique it up a little bit. And then I could always stitch whatever I would like in the center of that one. I haven't finalized my plans yet, but that's kind of what I am leaning toward is, you know, obviously it was a thrift store purchase. It really hardly cost anything, but it was a great way to get that doily and experiment with some things. So there we go. And let's see, I also have Heartstring Samplery Winter Comes. And this is something that came out in the Facebook group that no one can ever remember the name of, but it's run by Julia Kursavi. And every couple of months she teams up with a shop and a designer, and they release an exclusive kit. I'll put all of the information in the description. But this one was one that I just thought was absolutely gorgeous. And it has a really fun quote on it. You can either stitch it in a light color or a dark color. And it comes, I purchased the dark fabric, and it came with all of the threads and some stickers. So you can't go wrong with that. I don't think I will stitch the entire thing. What I am thinking is I'm just going to stitch the verse itself with some of the border around it, but again, kind of maybe a game day decision once I get a little closer to actually stitching that one, but really beautiful. And I know that this one has been widely released at this point. I don't know if you can get it as a kit anymore, but I'm sure you could get a shop to kit it up for you, but the pattern itself has absolutely been released at this point. The next series is patterns that I have received from the Silver Needle. They have a club that's called With a Little Help from My Friends, and they partner up with about half a dozen designers over the course of a year, and each of them release an exclusive for the Silver Needle and for this club, and they come fully kitted, and you never quite know. You know who the designers are, but you don't know what the patterns will be. You don't even know what order they're coming in, when they will come. You just sort of get mysteriously a notice in your email that says, hey, there's a package on the way for you, and then you get to wait, and then you get the excitement of opening up these packages. So it's something I have been a part of for about 2 years now. I haven't kept everything. I often kind of share them with fellow stitchers or put them on freebie tables, but these are part of the kit, that the club kit that I have kept and do intend to keep. Of course, not everything is necessarily to everybody's style, but that's part of the fun of it, is if you maybe don't like this one, the next one you'll probably love. And I have absolutely had, I have been very impressed with the quality of everything and the designs that have come out. So all of these are from that series. One of the recent designs that we received was a Cottage Garden Samplings. Is that Cottage Garden Samplings? Yes. And it's a peacock pincushion. And as you can see, the peacock is actually essentially stitching, now I'm trying to remember. Male peacocks are the ones that are all of the brightly colored? I think so. Stitching the tail feathers. The peacock is stitching the tail feathers, we'll say that. And it comes with everything that you need. They often include some sort of little treat as well. This is one of the club kits that is, I would say, more economical, because they don't give you full skeins. They give you the fabric cut that you need. They give you a fairly close approximation, always enough, but a close approximation of the threads that you need. And so they actually measure that out for every kit. And so it tends to be a little more economical, because you're not paying for full skeins that you may or may not be using like you do in some other clubs. And so it's one that I think is also, if you're looking to get into a club like that, I think it's a fairly reasonably priced one because of that. And they tend to be essentially pincushion sized projects. So again, fairly economical. And that is Cottage Garden Samplings Peacock. Similarly, also from Heartstring Samplery, we had a Sweet Melissa Biscornu, and it's kind of a spring piece. And it comes with all of the fabric and thread that you need. I'd mentioned that it comes often with something special, and so these were thread milk design, floss drops, some things like that. So that is another one from their series. Recently, we also received something from the Blue Flower, and this is Autumn Bee, and just a really beautiful, this designer, her colors are always just absolutely stunning. And I love that. And this one is actually stitched on kind of a green fabric with dinky dye silk. So nice. And as you can see, they pick pretty much what you need and send that along. One of the older pieces that I received from that club is a drawn thread piece. And this is Sampler House Cushion. Really lovely spring piece. Comes with everything that you need. And then this one I received just the other day. I haven't even shown it in a regular Flosstube, but this is the one that came just recently. And this is the Sampler Company, the Blue Boar Inn. And as you can see, this is maybe not pincushion size. Apparently they kind of went back and forth, and there were all kinds of kind of a comedy of errors, things that happened in the preparation for this one. So we did receive the entire pattern, so if we want to stitch the entire piece, we can, although it comes kitted actually just with essentially They made kind of a pincushion size like this. That's just the house and doesn't include the lettering. So that's what we actually received the elements for. But either way, fun. And then we got this really beautiful little silver needle minder. So really nice. And we've got a Mr. Dog. Hi, Mr. Guy. Hi. Yeah, you're showing off some things to the world that maybe the world doesn't want to see. Sorry about that. Sorry, everybody. All right, so these are kind of all the largest pieces that I have. And like I said, we are coming into the home stretch-ish. So this one is one that I purchased on Etsy, and it's Erebus Art. And this is Colorful Town. And I really love the colors of this. And I love that the reflection in the water is a reflection. It is kind of impressionistic view of a city. And so I just thought that one was just delightful. Hi, Mr. Dog. Hi. Do you want to come say hi? Hello, sweetie. Oh, hi there. Hello. Okay, there we go. So that one is one that I love because of the colors and the art style. And so I really do need to pull that one out and get started on that. I also recently purchased this one, which is a Ukrainian company. Doc is like, we're not going to talk about stitching anymore. And so this one is, let's see here. Do I have a name? I'm not sure I have an English name for it, but I thought I saw this. This is actually what popped up on my Etsy suggestions, and I bought it entirely because I think it is beautiful. I think that this piece is stunning. Just the little pops of color, the outline of the city in the rain, the bridge scene. I feel like I would probably find this intensely tedious to actually stitch, but I would be so proud to have it done. I would love to have this piece up. If I remember correctly, it's also huge. So when I'm going to get to this, I don't know, but this was one that I bought simply for the joy of having it and the joy of thinking about stitching it. Even if I never complete it, this alone is beautiful. Cat hair. Oh, I have a couple things here that are cheating a little bit because I purchased them as fully kitted pieces, but they were, I believe, fully kitted by the previous owner. These are both pieces that I purchased on, I think one was on eBay and one was on a stash unloading site. But this one is Jenny Beam's Christmas Sampler. And it says, "And had I but 1 penny, thou shouldst have it to buy gingerbread." And it's a very Christmas themed, there we go, sampler, and it comes with, of course, all the called for floss and threads. And that one I just thought, again, not my usual style, but this is one where I just thought I need it. It's beautiful. I love the sentiment. I love the design and the colors. So that one is something that I purchased fully kitted from the person who had originally bought it. And then I also have Bent Creek Long Winter. And it is a long piece, and it shows ice skaters kind of in a winter scene, and it comes with everything there. And again, it was something that was done by the person who previously purchased it, but I just thought that was a really neat one, and one I will probably focus on in the winter time. Let's see. Last Christmas, I purchased one of the Twin Peak Primitives limited edition sets, and this was one that came out at Christmas time, and it came with a whole series of patterns, but one of them was completely fully kitted, and it actually came with threads and fabric from XJU Design, which I think these are threads from XJU Design. Yeah. So that I thought was really neat. They often comes with like DMC in the sets, but it came with scissors, all kinds of things. And then this is Cardinal Sampler. And I just thought those birds are absolutely stunning. I love it. So I don't know if this one has been released more broadly, but this was something from kind of a limited edition kit. This is a Taya Governor piece, and this is Holland, Antique Tiles. There are a couple of these in her series. There's an Antique Tiles. One has the villages, one has some other things in it, but they're designed to look like they are actually antique tiles that are partially destroyed. kind of that Delft blue look, and so it is kind of evoking Holland and the Delft pottery. So that one I thought was just absolutely stunning. Gorgeous. Taya Governor. And then I have purchased a couple of Bothy Threads kits. I have one to show you tonight. One will show up in the kind of kit yourself kit parade. But this one is Snowy Stack, and it's just got all of these winter animals reveling in the holiday season and the winter time. And so I just thought that was super cute. I mean, that deer who's just like, what's this? What's this? Love that one. And then I have Guiding Light by Panna. And I love this kind of impressionistic view. You don't have to show every stroke, every element. You can just evoke it. And I love how well that is done in this piece. And it actually says lighthouse in the bottom. Beautiful. Okay, just on to the very last couple. So this is one that I showed in my last video as well. So this is a Dimensions Gold collection, The Finery of Nature, and it's got those four scenes. I may stitch them as 4 individual smalls rather than the 4 together, but gorgeous colors, and it comes with dark Ada and all of the threads, and they're actually separated. Oh my gosh, kits that actually separate the floss for you. It's beautiful. All right, this one is Windmill by XIU Crafts, and this is one that comes on a printed Ada. So much of this is actually printed on the fabric, and then you stitch just a portion of the image. So if you can see, it's down here that you do the stitching, kind of the windmill, and that's it. And then everything else is already printed onto the Ada. But again, love those beautiful sky scenes, the impressionistic view, maybe a little more than impressionistic. And this is the last one. We have made it. So this is Secret Garden, also by XIU Crafts, and one that is beautiful, just a chair out in nature. And I believe this one is just plain. I don't think it has anything printed on it, but it comes with kind of an even weave. But I thought that one was lovely. So with that, those are all of the kits that I have. I have just a couple of kits, but I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that it inspired you and you saw a couple of things that you like and that you would be interested in stitching in the future. So let me know what you saw. Let me know what you enjoyed and what you're thinking about. And maybe if there's something that is by one of these designers or you've seen and you thought, this reminded me of another one, let me know, because I always love to explore and love to enjoy new kits too. So I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you had fun, got in some good stitching while I was talking, and I will see you again near future. Regular Flosstube, a couple of more of these kind of kit parades of a variety of different flavors, and we will go from there. So have a wonderful evening, happy stitching, and we'll talk again soon. Bye everybody.